Speaking of Dorsey,
Yeah.
the Dolphins hung with. It seems as though these two teams, when they take on the very same field, the only difference between the two is the weather.
Is weather conditions.
It is the weather.
Yes.
Which is a good thing for the Dolphins, I feel like.
Well, no, not really. Because
I'm just saying, because the perception of the Bills
they're
is
gonna
this
play in
great
Buffalo.
team.
They wouldn't be playing in Miami if they play the Bills in the playoffs. So that's not good. Good for
Dolphins
Miami.
could have won that game on Saturday.
Well, no, they
You could say that about any loss.
And
No,
look,
no,
it
the
could be
question-
circumstantial that the Bills really turned it on once the snow started, but it's a fact from the game.
It doesn't matter, Mike. The question around the Dolphins was because could they go on the road, cold weather, in a big game against a good team and get it done? And the Dolphins proved to me, at least, that if they have to play Buffalo in the playoffs, they can win that game.
No, hold on. There's
They had a fourth quarter lead.
Look, with how the results panned out, you can have that moral victory attitude. This was a disastrous road trip. Disaster.
You're talking about two different things. There's a 3-game road trip and a game against Buffalo.
They didn't win a single game against playoff competition. They didn't. They got fat off the Texans, off the Browns. You guys were feeling really good about yourself. You were saying 1-2 will be fine. You didn't go 1-2. You went 0-3.
Trident method didn't work that great.
You blew
There's still the stick.
You blew a lead at Buffalo. You kind of fell apart in that game. You had drops all over the place. This is not moral victory central anymore. That's not what the season became.
I agree with you. I think the loss in L.A., the Chargers loss, was particularly bad.
That is the one. That's the one that hurts.
San Francisco and Buffalo are both really good teams. L.A. Chargers you needed to beat. You had to come off that road trip winning 1 out of 3. The reason for me the loss in Buffalo was very hurtful is they rushed for almost 200 yards in that game, 188 yards. And the whole thing was, can we run the ball in inclement weather? They did, and they still lost. And you know, they're so good defensively at home and so bad defensively on the road. When you score 29 points, you have to win a football game in that condition.
Dad, you just said they had to win one of those 3 games. They literally didn't because they're still in the playoffs and they lost those games.
Okay, but
they're what is it, Woody? 70% chance to make the
530
playoffs?
has them at 70%.
Yeah, but if Jacoby Myers doesn't make a boneheaded play for all time, you're going to be thinking about that differently, and it has nothing to do with the Dolphins' performance. You're going to feel worse about how the Dolphins perform if Jacoby Myers isn't an all-time idiot.
Yeah, but I mean, if they catch the touchdown in the end zone, they win the game.
Exactly.
They drop 2 in a row.
I think the concern is that they didn't. They were dropping balls all throughout that game, and these are guys that are going to have to go on the road, it would appear. We'll see what happens in the AFC South and how that shakes out, but the chances are is they're going to have to play in conditions that aren't optimal for this offense.
Well, they did well, though. Like, they did better than expected in those
They did.
conditions.
That's
I
what
think
I'm
people
saying.
left
I
that
am
game
encouraged.
thinking that it went a lot better than they expected.
I'm encouraged
The
by the
talk was
running
the
game.
Dolphins would get blown out of that game, and they didn't get blown out of that game.
No, but they blew a late lead. They were
Yeah, but that
dropping the ball
loss,
left
that
and
loss
right.
was more impressive than some of their wins this year have been.
Agreed.
They're going to
Yes.
they're going to need to beat a playoff team in the playoffs.
Right.
They're going to have to beat every team in the playoffs if
Well,
they
no,
want to get
but
to
they're
the
going
Super
to
Bowl.
look. They're afforded to them. They're going to have to go through 3 playoff teams to get to the Super Bowl.
Once you get to the playoffs, yes, Mike,
They
you have to beat
one. They
playoff
haven't beat
teams.
one
Yes.
since week 3.
and they haven't beaten one since week 3 in a nuclear sun. I think there's reason for
Who
concern.
have they lost to? Look at their schedule. Like, let's do this like college football.
No,
they
but
have
hold on
all
a second.
good losses,
Chris,
right?
I would also tell you
Yeah,
while
but they don't
they're
have good wins outside of week 3.
While they're the 7th seed, okay, I would also tell you this: there is danger all around them. Like, because they have lost 1 game to the Jets, they play the Jets again. They lose that game. They don't have the tiebreaker. They don't have the tiebreaker with the Chargers. They do have it with the Ravens, but the Ravens are going to win their division. Oh no, the Bengals will win that
Bengals are winning
division.
it.
The Dolphins can go 2-1
Right.
and make the playoffs. That's it.
Yeah.
No, I mean,
I don't like Aaron Rodgers strolling into town too with a chance to
You
make
have
the
to win that
playoffs.
game.
Those aren't
Right.
easy games. And
No,
Right.
it's a tough
They
closing
should-
schedule.
they should beat the Packers.
Yeah, chance though.
Clearly, they should beat the Packers because the Packers aren't a good team this year. And then they have to go through 2 all right teams, one of which might find itself in the playoffs. With the Bills, not with the Bills, with the Patriots and the Jets. This is a team that hasn't won against a good team since week 3 in conditions that were optimal for them and bad for the opposing team. I think it's fair to say, can this team actually be playoff good when
Yes.
they're not having playoff caliber victories?
I agree with you. And a 3-game losing streak at this time of the year is bad. It's really bad. It has Dolphin fans thinking, here we go again, because the Dolphins tend to start off pretty strong and then go into a little bit of a tailspin. As Dave Barry says on my podcast, the Dolphins are the only team that can start off 10-10 and finish 8-8. They just tend to do this kind of thing. And now
10-0.
No, he's
No. He the joke was they could start 10-0 and finish 8-8.
right. What did
That's
I
what
say?
he meant.
You said
10-10. Yeah.
Oh, I meant 10-0.
Yeah.
Yeah, I stepped on my
Let's
own.
dust.
punchline.
Let's dust off an old friend,
Yeah,
gang.
we need
because
to.
I feel like there's a lot of there's a lot of panic here.
He's right.
But there's also a lot of calm. So let's dust off a little game I like
boy.
to call panic or calm.
Ooh, I like it.
Yeah.
Was there imaging for
Let's
this?
dust it off. No, this is a sports bang
I
thing.
think there- oh.
With two little
Yeah.
stick figures
Wow.
running back and forth.
Yeah.
Yeah, panic or calm. Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of dust on it.
I'll
Yeah.
start.
It's been a while.
And I think you're going to know where I'm at on this based off my takes recently. I'm calm.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like we got everything in front of us. We control our own destiny. We are in the playoffs currently.
COD.
Got to win to get in, and let's do that. Let's go win.
I'm with you, Chris. I'm pretty calm just because that last performance was really good. I tend to do sort of measuring my favorite teams on the basis of performance, and I think this game that they played against Buffalo was one of the best games that they've played all season, even with some adversity. Like Tua had some bad moments in that game, but
They
I
were
thought on the
assaulted
whole,
by snowballs also.
That's true.
Oh, yeah,
Ice balls.
yeah.
Should have been more 15-yard penalties. But I feel like if you asked me after the Chargers game or after the 49ers game, I thought there was a lack of performance in those games that was genuinely concerning. Particularly, I mean, the Chargers game, Tua was atrocious in that game. And in the 49ers
And against the
game,
Niners. 2 games in a row, he's bad.
I know, but like the context of the 49ers game is a little different now based off what they've done since. But even still, you go back and watch that game, and Chris Sims mentioned this on God Bless Football. Like he went back and watched it, and it was nothing to do with the defense. There was open throws all over the field. Tua just didn't take them or didn't make them, and so that would be a concern heading into at the Patriots or home with the Jets. They've got good defenses, but I think on the whole, I liked how they played in Buffalo. Even on defensively, they gave up a lot, particularly in the first half. But after halftime, they adjusted pretty well. My concern with them in the overall is defensively. They built this around having Xavier Howard in his prime and Byron Jones, and they really don't have either of those things right now because Xavier Howard is not playing well, and Byron Jones is probably going to miss the entire season if you listen to Mike McDaniel's comments. So defensively, they have issues that we probably don't talk about enough.
But the pressure has gotten better. Their sacks are, since they've gotten Chubb, while he's not getting the sacks, the team sacks have gone
Phillips
up.
has played well, Wilkins has played well, but I'm pretty disappointed in that Bradley Chubb trade.
I mean, but the numbers, the
Well,
team
disappointed in him, right? He hasn't done anything.
No, he's pressured.
No, he's been pretty good.
He's got home
Yeah.
a couple times.
I just think that like if you're giving up that kind of draft capital to go and get a dominant pass rusher, you should get a dominant.
But
pass
dude, wait till that playoff game. That's when we need a big sack from him, a big strip sack and a big moment.
You gotta
Also,
get there.
Whitty, the thing with pass rushers too, if you have a dominant pass rusher, their counting stats may not always be there either. Like you look at Aaron Donald, he doesn't have the most amazing stats, but he's such a gravitational pull to the offensive line. Maybe Bradley Chubb is having effects to other guys on the defensive line that are helping them.
I watch them and I don't see an appreciable increase in pressure. Like I still see them giving up a lot of quick throws, a lot of throws down the field, leaving their corners exposed. When by the end of that game, they didn't have a second safety. With Eric Rowe out and they lost their backup.
But are
in the
you
game as
panic
well.
or are you calm?
Panic or calm?
He
He's
said
calm.
calm, but
He's
there's
calm.
a reason
Yeah.
why
Yeah,
he's so
I
panicked.
mean, look,
Yeah.
they've lost
he's
3 in a
calm. Seems like
row.
a mess.
They've
I
lost
mean-
3 in a row to good teams. They lost away at the Jets and home to the Vikings, and then the Bengals game with the Tua situation that happened. They've lost to a lot of good teams, and so
Are you panic or are
panic.
you
He said
calm?
calm.
He
Word.
said
Beginning.
calm.
One
Front
word.
end.
I mean, just one word.
I
at
think
this point, right?
I'm very pleased with how they
That's
played
not
in
the
Buffalo.
You didn't
Yeah,
ask
it's
Clay
calm.
this.
You didn't answer his
Play the
question.
game,
It's not
man.
pleased or not
See,
pleased.
making
I
it about
mean-
himself again.
Yeah.
I'm calm.
Wow.
Okay, good.
Okay, there you go.
Roy?
I'm panic.
Wow.
I'm panic.
Yeah.
Even wrote it down.
Yeah,
You're
well,
soft.
that's how,
You have to write
that's
it
how they
down.
did
You
it.
just said it out loud.
Well, I'm
Yeah.
panic only because someone has to be a devil's advocate on this hour and be the bad guy.
That
with
chair,
Dana.
man.
I wouldn't
It's a
have
chair.
been so calm.
It's a chair.
I
I'm
think
just going
Greg's
to point
with
out
you.
you're
I think
0
Greg's
and
with
3
you.
in your last
Not telling
three.
you how to think.
I'm not telling you what to think. I'm just asking you if you'd like to.
Guys, I have an idea.
I think I'm calm.
Oh, okay, Roy's calm.
You think you're calm?
Yeah, I think so.
You're not sure yet, though.
No, not sure.
Okay.
Wait,
Let
ask
us
me
know.
again next week.
Keep us posted.
Yeah.
I won't.
I'll tell you after 3 more games whether I'm calm or panicked.
Yeah, I'll wait till the playoffs.